Our next guest calls former President Trump, quote, the greatest showman in the country right now. Joining me now is Mick Mulvaney, former acting White House chief of staff for President Trump. You've worked side by side with him, very closely with him. You know him very, very well. I've got to ask you, his own lawyers outside the courthouse today described him as frustrated, disappointed. Other people in the court said he looked furious. What was that plane ride back to Mar-a-Lago like tonight?
Yeah, the plane ride was probably a lot better. Yeah, I'm sure he was angry. I'm sure he was frustrated. All those things sound right. He was not happy about being indicted. He doesn't think it's good for his brand, for his legacy, for his reputation. But I got to think that once he got on the airplane and started to hear the chatter, because keep in mind he's probably watching 4 or 5, maybe even 6 different networks to try and get the input on how today went. His spirits have got to go up. There's no question about it. Even his staunchest opponents, Mitt Romney, put out something in support of the president tonight. John Bolton, who can't stand Donald Trump, was saying nice things about him on another network. And even former Obama officials are saying that they don't understand exactly why this is happening. All of that combines to probably put him in a really, really good and upbeat mood as he heads back on that flight tonight to Mar-a-Lago.
So is he writing this speech on the airplane? There are no lawyers on the plane riding back to Mar-a-Lago. There is just political staff, political advisors. He's been warned by the judge to be careful about what he says. But who's writing this speech?
Yeah, I think since there's no gag order, there's just the warning from the judge, which I guess they probably give to everybody. But since there's no formal gag order, there's probably not any reason to have the lawyers on there to worry about the speech. The speech is going to be written by somebody else, and Trump will look at it, make changes and so forth. But what you watch for tonight is when is he reading the speech and when is he clearly sort of extemporizing, because he will do that for sure. This could be one of those speeches, Elizabeth. I mean, I guess as soon as I say it, it'll be 15 minutes, but it could be one of those speeches that go an hour with him simply riffing and going from extemporaneous as to how he feels about the day. So again,
right.
I think his energy levels will be high. But I don't think the lawyers will have much to do with what this speech says tonight.
Yeah, it's interesting. While his own lawyers and legal team, and out of concern, I guess, that this would be somehow politicized or made into a circus, they did not take a mugshot of him as they do with other white-collar defendants. And yet we hear reports that, you know, his campaign is making sweatshirts with a faux mugshot, a picture they've taken to sort of resemble one. I mean, they're capitalizing on it at the same time that they're saying, please don't actually subject me to this.
Yeah, and they've raised a lot of money. It's not just the amount of money. I've heard numbers as high as $7, possibly $10 million over the past couple of days. It's not just that, Elizabeth. I'm hearing that 25% of the donors are new donors. These are folks who have never given money to Donald Trump at all. So that's a big deal in the political world. When you can find that many new people to give you dough, that's a big deal. So again, another reason to be upbeat. Look, the future is still unclear for the former president. He's got to deal with the charges and possibly in Georgia, possibly on the classified documents, possibly on January 6th. But tonight is probably a pretty good night down in Mar-a-Lago.
All right, Mick Mulvaney, thanks so much for weighing in on that. Nice to talk to you tonight.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.